on Robotnik Head. I don't think this plant life would be alright when it's close to this toxic ooze. Looks like one of the annoying B-movie memes got together with Donald Duck's evil twin. Can Dr. Quack even breathe in this thing? Just what railroad-style games need. Sexual innuendos. This giant vacuum machine is sucking up the books very slowly. I don't think it would suck up every book. Lately it's a jerk to Yooka by having a bigger towel. How can Trouser even slither around when his tail is through his pants like this? I'd imagine it would be near impossible. Trouser was probably a jerk to our heroes. You eat butterflies for health because now we're ripping off Spyro. And they're talking like they want to be eaten. That's Lispus. Yeah, Laylee, say out loud that you didn't give him the quills. Something about the pages remind me of the creepy Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials. These pages need to hide from capital B, which is why this one's just hiding out in the open. So cages have no keys to them. Then what's with this keyhole? Did I mention the loading screens are kinda choppy? This also goes for Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64, but are these worlds even part of the Yooka-Laylee world? Or do these books contain portals to another dimension? This game has some pretty breathtaking graphics. Boo! If the pot melted your skin off, how are you still alive? Oh right, cartoon physics. How do we know this is a girl? Since this pagey has cuts in it, I think it would be affected by the substance in the pot. There's no reason to go into these holes because you just end up coming out of another one right next to it. Is it even possible to jump while rolling? This guy's name is Rextro and was apparently from the 80s, but how did he have that name? I don't think retro games were called retro back then. He can keep his gigantic head in the air above his tiny body like that. That's Blockist. Man, how many times am I going to send that? I'm not sure we're friends yet, more like acquaintances. I can barely read some of this text. This game had awfully good graphics for something that's supposed to be a retro game. The cart's controls take some getting used to. Also, it kinda reminds me of Top Ride from Kirby's Air Ride, which was the weakest of the three main gameplay modes in that game. What's the point of this first place sign if we're not racing anyone? They give little indication when the reverse controls effect is going to wear off. Even worse if you're turning when it happens. Not only is it possible to stand on clouds, clouds can even wear helmets without the helmets falling through them. Nimble the Nimbus? That name makes no sense for reasons I stated in similar situations in some of my past Everything Wrong With videos. Are these holes these sentient hoops' mouths? How do they not starve if their food goes right through them? Do they even need to eat? What do you think it's supposed to be? It's a pagey that's been ripped. Isn't it obvious? Hints have to be in rhyme cliché. How we fully repaired this pagey and made him look good as new, I'll never know. Ooh, that was a sick burn there. Are you sure this isn't only useful against a giant enemy crab? Of course there's a fart joke in the script. Why does Vendy have to look like Mrs. Potato Head's freakishly deformed cousin? Well, at least she's not broke madame for Bowser's Inside Story. You think we won't find that suspicious? Molly cool. Dr. Puzz must have been a rejected Splatoon character. And how does she feed this fish in her helmet? Dr. Puzz doesn't take offense to this racist statement. Whoa, even the game's aware of the similarities. Dr. Puzz doesn't hear that. Yep, these two are extremely racist. This game's transformations, while not bad, aren't as cool as they were in the Banjo games. So is this a female flower that's in love with us? Or is this a male flower who's in love with us and thinks we're a girl? It's hard to tell. Plants can hop. Who knew? Too early for what kind of thing? This was enough to convince Shoots-a-Lot to fess up. Yooka is casting a shadow when he's already in the shade. Why does Lady Leap-a-Lot put the pagey in a cage if it means nothing? Unlike Banjo-Kazooie, this game only has 5 worlds, and I bet it's because of how you have to expand the worlds. Why bother? Why not just have the worlds stay the same size and give us more? As a matter of fact, sometimes I feel like I'm spending more pages than the ones I'm getting back in the new expanded worlds. Game Freak hasn't sued these guys for a name like Butterfree. If Blatzo couldn't breathe with his pagey lodged in it, how did he not die? That's racist. 36 seconds of showing us the expanded world! I did not expect a Shovel Knight cameo. Laylee, if you hate it when you end up in another game, you should probably get ready for when you guys join Brawl in about a year. When rolling, you use up energy even when you're not moving. Rampo is awfully cheap for the first boss. Having to face this boss on a slant while curled up is unforgiving. I doubt Yooka can spray water that far. Eevee just tried to avoid us by flying into us. Of course, when you have a sentient cloud that rains, you make pee jokes. and this game spams it out the butt. So how about I send every single P joke they make in this one conversation? How does this door go all the way down here? Is there some kind of elevator in that cave that the game won't show us? Okay, there goes another sin subtraction. Cartos has a Robotnik mustache. These Cartos challenges are actually pretty cheap because of the strange perspective and how you need to jump nearly perfectly. The boosting is also kind of inconsistent. The game's pretty long, so I wouldn't say in no time. Are you telling me Dr. Quack's helmet can lift this TV on it without breaking the helmet? Main villain turns out to be working for an even bigger bad cliche. These quiz rooms mysteriously disappear after you clear them. I guess you do still get to technically go against Dr. Quack, but you still never get to fight him. It's kind of hard to tell if that was supposed to be a pun or not. Just like so many forms of media, this game forgets that bread is actually bad for ducks. Is there really a reason he can't just kill us if we answer the questions wrong? Hey, wait a minute! Why doesn't Dr. Quack take down these platforms protecting us from the acid instead of giving us bonus points for answering really quickly?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
I've seen Yooka's size comparison to Clara, a human skeleton earlier, and Yooka seems just as big. So how will anyone be able to play these arcade machines? Even capital B seems barely big enough. You get nothing for winning the arcade games in Ivory Towers. Discount Tetris blocks. What is a pagey doing behind an arcade screen? I'm pretty sure this snow would leave a big mess on the floor and ruin a lot of the machines, especially when the snow melts. This song is so beautiful to listen to. I wish this game was out by the time I made the revision to my winter themes list, because this would have definitely been on it. And it's proof that while the soundtrack's not as good as it was in Banjo-Kazooie, it's still something worth removing since. Why does the ice make squeaky toy noises when we walk on it? Yooka isn't leaving any footprints in the snow. Yeah, I know, that's a nitpick. Oh, hi Olaf. How can Normie not pass through here? He's a ghost! Bats and snakes can't survive cold temperatures. Bats have to hibernate, and snakes have to dig deep into the ground until spring. Gotta agree with Laylee. Who would name a street after this scumbag? Why are there vases in a snowy area? Sure, why not rip off the platforms with faces that only move when you stand on them from Yoshi's Island DS? This is really tricky. Oh, now we've got hypothermia. I love how we're in a winter wonderland, yet this grass is still nice and green. Laylee is a jerk to Clara. Clara isn't freezing when she has no skin. Planker can bend back and forth like this without snapping. Was he made from the rubber tree that must have been used to make the fake bird in A Bug's Life? Planker is a jerk to us. VD can move even though he's frozen. While breaking these ice chunks off this ice statue with capital B, we somehow didn't break any pieces off it. Mixing these cannonballs makes us much heavier, yet we can still jump just as high. Also, that's not a good idea. Didn't our mother ever tell us not to put our tongue onto metal in the winter? She's as good as Yooka and Cornelius' mother at that. So coating ourselves in honey will keep us from sliding down these ice ramps, but wouldn't that just make us stick to the ice? This ice key was able to turn this metal lock. Of course, a Lost Woods type area that's annoying to navigate. Our shadow goes through this platform, and our platform doesn't even cast a shadow. Acid doesn't leave behind any drops on the platform when it rises out. I ordinarily don't mind ice puns, but that ice elf pun definitely gets us in. What do tans have to do with being quiz hosts? You gotta be kidding me. You really expect us to count all those tiles? Snook or Whaley? Are you sure this minigame wasn't from Majora's Mask? We interrupt this game to bring you Donkey Kong 64. Also, couldn't they come up with cooler animations for them being destroyed? No, this isn't bad footage I got. The frame rate's actually this bad at this part. They must have brought an unused Super Mario Kart level into this game. Even though this ice block is surrounded by fire, it doesn't melt until it actually touches fire. Bree's block looks more like some weird napkin than a block here. Now that he's smaller, the projectiles he shoots are actually bigger than he is. Even though we've cured Bernie, we barely see any fire inside him. It's Rusty Bucket Bay all over again. Also, why would these pipes even be spinning? Ice honeycombs. Apparently, Rextor is also a master poet. I bet this must actually be torture for these sentient walls to have to keep going into this acid or whatever it is. This wall looks possible to jump over even though it really isn't. These berries are awfully far away from Feedy, who we're supposed to feed them to. What, are these guys Bernie's evil brothers? Please tell me this isn't consuming air even in a cutscene. Do these statue things have to breathe? I'm used to saying it like snowplow, so saying the word spelled like that feels a bit off to me. Who knew that snowplows could jump? This ice is pretty sturdy. It can support the weight of a giant snowplow. Wow, the witch snowman really is a witch. He somehow knew we found his head even though we're in a completely different room. Honestly, this guy kinda gives me the creeps for some reason. Now I feel like we just helped Gruntilda. Did we just dive into this area and all the water drained? We're learning Buddy Bubble, and this one wasn't created by SpongeBob. Another fart joke. Did you really have to make this spell pee? There's not much context to this joke other than, haha, it's inappropriate. Crazy Kirkhope says he's free now, but then just stays in one place. Moody Maze Marsh is the most difficult world to navigate. Wow, look at that great detail with the swamp. No, seriously, it almost looks like a real swamp. I don't know if this is a poop joke or not, but just in case. Heidi's laugh somehow makes me feel uncomfortable. Maybe I have a dirty mind, but this laugh sounds almost naughty. I don't know for sure if the game is pulling the old prize out in the open trick and thinking we'll fall for it, but I'll just send it just to be sure. Yooka-Laylee. How do these feathers floating above these logs not fall into the swamp? Because Nomi's covered in fire, he looks harder to collect than he really is. Sausage features. These guys don't even have doors. There's no option to have all these tonics equipped at once. Did you really expect to find gold inside mushrooms? Wally doesn't respond to Laylee saying he has an annoying voice. Laylee, we can see if he has pages in his basket or not. This cheap maze can stun lock you. The people creating this maze left a way out. I thought they didn't want any trespassers to survive. Laylee is a huge jerk to Ollie. Where did this giant trap come from? Yooka, despite being a chameleon, is apparently so fat that he can sink this massive slope. I guess this also goes for the Mario series, but how does Yooka go up through these pipes? I'll never understand what's up with these villains and actually making their stages possible to beat. Wait, is this hoop going through the ramp? And now one's going through the platform. These must be ghost hoops. Actually, that would make sense considering where we are. Thanks, I kinda would've guessed that. Is Yooka even strong enough to pull this block? I'd imagine that his tongue would get ripped off first. Man, if I had $1 for every time a character from a Banjo-Kazooie game, or this game, mistook us for people who have certain jobs that'll help them, I'd be so rich I'd make Scrooge McDuck jealous. Meanwhile, I wonder what the real gardener would say when finding out that his job's already been done. I see what the time limit's for, but why would we need to be timed on simply planting seeds? This part. Good luck timing your moves just perfectly, or the seed will keep getting destroyed. And this is where the cartridge challenges become unforgiving. Well, it looks like this game is not above wasting memory space for the sake of a joke. Hey, there's this great new invention called recording shows. Tentacle doesn't go blind from this. Why does he keep revealing his weak spot? This is actually horrific. Especially since we even see him blink without his eyeball. To be fair, I don't know how a cart would be able to clean the marsh. Why would you set switches to clean the marsh all the way across these hard to reach areas? Jollyfish this page out of the clogged pipe, yet it's completely clean. I see the designers of these sewers took some inspiration from the entrance to Majora's Mask's pirate fortress. Really? You don't seem like you have any rifts in you other than the ones that Pages already have. Also, Pages can apparently breathe underwater now. They don't make it clear enough where you need to use these fire berries. Who would put up an arcade machine in the middle of a swampy area? Why is it outside anyway? When it rains, the machine is ruined. Well, that hurts. Well, it sounds like the song was unused from Tangled. Or Brave. I think the transformation of a school of piranhas is a pretty awesome idea for a transformation, and I enjoy using them. However, what happens when we transform back? Do the others just stop existing? And raising and lowering yourself with X and L2 is a real problem. Why couldn't they have us raise and lower with buttons that make more sense like L2 and R2? Characters trapped under an object underwater cliche. Well, this moment just got needlessly dark. I just realized something. Why can't Feedy find his own berries instead of making us get some for him? Backhanded compliment. Actually, Yooka has a point. How did Clara survive in here? Repeatedly using the sonar explosion can get kinda annoying. Well, here's a glitch that can happen. I mean, I don't know how many people it's happened to, but the fact that I found this while looking for footage is deserving of a sin. Why would a health upgrade be at the bottom of a swamp? Who dropped it in here? I don't know about you, but I was taught that water conducts electricity. So why isn't this electricity going farther? Discount Casinopolis. Having to turn invisible every time you want to come in can get tedious. Capital B isn't surprised we got in here despite the doors that don't let us in. The game seems like it was the intention to make Capital B's disguise obvious, but why isn't he encouraging us to bet all of our pages? Drowser is also a jerk to Sonic. Capital B lets butterflies in the casino. The slot bandit makes the laser sound like much more of a problem than it actually is. These quills can be a nuisance to get. I was always really bad at slots, so I'm giving a sin for reminding me of my frustration. Hey, why are these slot machines free? Aren't you supposed to pay to use them? Capital B doesn't know how to slots correctly. Also, man, these slot wheels spin slowly. Capital B really doesn't know how to do this. These people actually let Dr. Pudge bring her giant laser into the arcade. I don't really see how a helicopter will be a fitting transformation for a casino. Flowers grow in grassy areas, snowplows are used in snowy weather, fish are found in water, and ships are award used for giant boats and spaceships. I don't see the connection here. What's with all these Egyptian writings in the casino? I know people drop coins in fountains to make a wish, but to waste game tokens? How did Capital B expect people to reach the machines all the way up here? Stealing. Also, it sure was nice of Capital B to decide to paint the out of order ones blue. It's like he somehow knew they'd be out of order and decided to paint them that way. I don't want to help a robber steal something. Does Lady Lootsalot even want to get to the vault? She doesn't even tell us where it is and puts a time limit on it. Why? Heidi's a nuisance to find here. These people are ignoring the rule of how handrails have to protect you from falling into the water. Being pushed too far back is frustrating since you can't see where the heck you're going. And why is this course so long? Of course, we have to do this part again for full credit. Easy? Yeah, right. Well, here's a slot machine that was programmed to troll us. Yooka doesn't get cut by this glass he's rolling through. How did Capital B's minions reach here if there's so many traps in the way? This is funny, but we wouldn't really get robbed since we don't really lose anything for losing this game. That's funny too. But this thing isn't even plugged in. He doesn't disqualify you for breaking this last rule, which, mind you, is still a bad rule to trust him on, but yeah. This golf ball is way too big for everyone. How will anyone golf with that thing? I'm pretty sure these tokens were bigger than that. I'm a reflecting my laser! Also, I don't understand how turning invisible makes that possible. Why would you write the combination right next to the door that you need to use it on? The series of combination puzzles seems to go on forever. Looks like Konami works at this casino too. Conveniently, this slot machine knows how to raise the ramp. For some reason, I feel like taking 3 sins off here. Using the reptile rush to knock down chunks of this stack of glass blocks doesn't cause the other blocks to fall and break. Some of these electric net things must have lost their way in the Crash Bandicoot universe and ended up in this game's universe. It's nearly impossible to jump over the barrel without hitting the bee. This minecart segment has got to be the worst. This is where you can run into another of those annoying glitches, where your jump will be disabled. It's actually amazing that we got Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which was awful by the way, and not even worth sitting. Anyways, I'm adding another 5 sins. Great, now we're fighting a boss on these tracks? I can't imagine how much worse it would be if you had to do the minecart segment all over again if we lost on this boss. It's extremely irritating having to dodge his attacks before hitting him. And that annoying laugh just makes me want to toss this thing into the recycling bin. You know, Banjo-Toooe had boss health meters, so why can't this game? Why does Inept have to crouch whenever it's trying to ram us? That shows some bad programming on Capital B's part. Are you kidding me? This fight still isn't over? And I can't believe I had to give 6 cents to this boss alone.
Yeah.
I don't think this is where we'd go if we wanted to have fun. Wow, look at that! The most broken move in the whole game, while still not as fun as it was in Banjo-Kazooie. Though it would be more fitting if we got in the final level, especially considering what said level turns out to be. It can't be more toxic than Emperor Lemon's memes and fanbase. Or that stupid Space Jam DVD song meme. What's this toilet doing here? Why would Capital B have it all the way through here other than to inconvenience himself? It's not even big enough for him. It sure was nice of Capital B to put a fun slide segment in his lair, but it's somewhat slow. Super Yooka Galaxy. The gravity has not decreased on some foreign planet. Well, you know what they say, Trouser. If someone tries to touch you in a place or a way that makes you feel uncomfortable,
that's no good.
Okay, in space, I'd imagine that balloons would pop right away. How can normal-looking plants grow in space? Yooka doesn't get mutated eating this toxic waste. This butterfly's a pain to get because it keeps flying by the berries, causing us to repeatedly get them instead of it. Running around in this area gets a bit monotonous. I understand this water is like space water or whatever and we can't touch it, but what's with its design? Is there glass in the water? This really is Super Yooka Galaxy. The ship, while not a bad transformation, feels kind of underwhelming for a final transformation. Paige's paper blood isn't rushing into his head. Why did they think this would be funny? I mean, I'd give more sins if Mooney didn't act like we didn't warn him, but this still makes me feel uncomfortable. Also, since we destroyed a moon, that means we just ruined that moon's planet. Planet's face was brown in her icon, but now her face is purplish blue. And they make this even worse after telling us that Planet, the new boss we face, who was Mooney's girlfriend, is now called Interstellar World Widow. What the heck, game? For a big boss you fight in outer space, this fight doesn't feel all that climatic. I'd expect more when you're fighting a planet figure. Now she even says she's been alive for billions of years, making me feel even more uncomfortable about killing her boyfriend. Man, how many sins am I going to give for this boss alone? Sometimes you won't be able to rotate the camera fast enough in this minigame. Why are these lasers moving up and down? Wouldn't it be better security to just have them stay there at all times? That is definitely hilarious. But didn't the Pagey back at Travel Stack Tropics say he was unable to do that? How is this water normal water but the water outside isn't? Also, there's pretty much nothing in here, so what's the point of it? Would an arcade machine even be able to work in space? Or would the vacuum of space cause it to combust? I didn't ask for a Flappy Bird in this game, especially when it seems to have Silver Surfer elements in it. Then again, it's still somewhat easy to get the high score anyway. Why would Sir Scoffsalot eat a key? We are jerks, so Lady leap a lot. How do you know that under that armor he's not a scarecrow or a lion? Or a lost girl and her dog trying to get back to Kansas? These cone enemies almost look like Mr. Potato Head. Spinning this wheel doesn't turn the ship. So he's afraid of shadows but not afraid of the dark? Because logic. This is funny, but it's also really lucky that the captain wasn't like, wait, I don't have a crew member named Billy, you liar! This is almost as stupid as when Shrek called random names when disguised in Shrek 2. If this captain has an irrational fear of shadows, why does he have a burning berry plant? And why does he have these lights on? Raising the water level somehow lifts this heavy looking object. We make ourselves metal in order to win this minigame, so we're cheating. What's with this frog guy? He looked feminine and now looks male with his icon. Laylee doesn't take offense to the frog calling her nose ugly. You'd think that for enemies that are based off brains, that these cosmic corpulents would know better than to stand on the course, allowing them to get bulldozed by the golf ball. Couldn't they just teleport us back to the top if we missed the ball? This golf frog guy was actually holding a Pagey captain. Ah! Lava! Wait, you mean that's safe to walk on? Well, couldn't you have made that clearer? So now Yuka's a Jedi. Yes, we actually helped someone in the wrong. What the heck is this? We can see the outside of Rusto through the walls? I thought video games didn't have this problem anymore. Looks like these guys borrowed the space bathroom from Super Paper Mario. This is too disgusting. Disgusting isn't the same as funny, especially when you actually have to roll through poop in a kid's game. Just like in Banjo-Kazooie when you get flushed, I have to give 10 cents here too. Oh, so now the gravity decides to be lighter? In a minecart segment that you would expect to be fast-paced? Unfortunately, Kartos does have to be associated with the painfully boring and generic impossible lair. If this Pagey's blowing around the wind, yeah, it's gone. Hey, bless Tooie, you're in the wrong video game. And why are you a cannon? Shouldn't you be a giant blue turtle with cannons on your shell? How are we supposed to know what this stupid metaphor means? Pushing this ice cube into this bright sunlight doesn't melt it. Apparently making a few bubbles inside tubs is enough to get him to start working again. And of course, we need another fart joke. Man, what's with all these comedies using hot tubs as an excuse to make fart jokes? This is, no joke, the fourth form of media I've seen to make a fart joke with hot tubs. I blame Lion King 1.5. Oh yeah, this one's totally fair. This ledge is frustrating to grab at times. You still get these points even after you run out of time. This entrance looks so awesome! I'd expect the song inside the Velocity Terminal to sound more big and exciting though. They got people's hopes up when saying the last quiz was the final one. Though, to be fair, one of the loading screens kind of spoiled it. Dr. Quack is a duck with teeth. I feel I should remove a sin for this. Don't know why. What makes these bees less anthropomorphic than capital B? Attacking him like this looks disgusting. Okay, that was funny. If capital B can destroy parts of the floor like this, why can't he destroy the entire floor so we have no room to stand? These bees can sting us without killing themselves. We see him falling into the acid, but then he falls onto the ground. This plot twist confuses me. So Dr. Quack was actually using capital B this whole time and he was the boss, but they're actually working for a group of bosses? I don't get it. Laylee spelled organization wrong. This this party was for Blasto? After we did all that work, there's nothing funny about some horrible character stealing all the credit for our hard work. I was just about to call Blasto one of my favorite characters in the game, but now he can kiss that goodbye. Not only are these credits way too long, but unlike Banjo-Kazooie's credits, which had a lot of interesting visuals during the credits, this one has nothing.